But now small head we no see complete head of the person. So we go try make the person dey complete, because we dey complete for Biafra. We no dey gree for anybody o. Whether they wan stop am, we no dey gree. We no go gree for anybody. That is why we must not agree for anybody. We move. We move. Okay, e be like say, okay, don't come back. Okay, Mazi, you have the mic before we play this our video.
Hey, I greet everybody. Majugo, you won't cease to amaze me. Hey, I salute all of you in the house. I see Ada Biafra, Betty, I salute you. And those that will be joining us later and those that are here with us. I salute all Biafrans and lovers of freedom. We've come a long way and there is no going back. And the path that we have told is a path of freedom. And where we are now is where we get ready to declare Biafra. So if you've been on the fence all these years, it's high time you came down from your fence, because a lot are happening. And if at this very time of January 2024, you have not come to the acknowledgement of repenting from your evil ways against the Biafran cause, that means you will be buried even when Biafra has come, because you will stand on the side of the Islamic jihadists. And we will be so glad to kick you off the rail, because you pave ways for the terrorists to come in, massacre, slaughter, rape, and annihilate our babies, women, children, men, and all. But these very Biafran youth that have come to restore Biafra this time are not the one that reconsiders whatever you think. No, 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 no. We don't reconsider nor even look people's face at this very time. So we are fully ready. Thank you, Wachineke. As I come in, I implore everyone to share, share, share. Please, carry on. I dare you.
Thank
No.
you, my minister. You are welcome.
Okay, make we continue. I think we'll go first listen to the great Lumumba, Professor Lumumba, not be the great Lumumba. We go listen to Professor Lumumba, then we we go hear the reply where our PM will give them. Let's go.
How can Africa unite? Why is Africa not united? And then you added there that even in 200 years from now, Africa may not be able to achieve the unity that has been quite elusive. And you've gone on to say that our disunity has been quite a disservice to this continent. Also highlighting the issue of ethnicity and inclusivity that sometimes lacks in a lot of our African states. Before I call on the next uh, speaker, I'd like to invite Professor PLO to come and respond to some of those questions that you raised there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Simon. I'm very happy that you've teased out a number of very useful things. In fact, in point of fact, I don't think we agree on much, particularly when you introduce the subject of diversity. And there is something that perhaps you've not spoken to very directly, but you've mentioned, I think it is your kinsman Chinua Achebe, who, writing in 1983, The Trouble with Nigeria, said that the problem of Nigeria, and by extension of Africa, is simply and squarely a problem of leadership. And I can't agree with you more. I personally have said in a different setting that part of the African problem is that those who have power have no ideas, and those who have ideas have no power. And I can't agree with you more. One cannot even quarrel with the question of the diversity that you've talked about. In fact, if you go down in history in 1963, perhaps before I come to 1963, let me go back to the Berlin Project. The arbitrary creation of what we now call countries was essentially to design units that could not function. The post-colonial African state was not supposed to function. They were supposed to collapse. And that debate did preoccupy the founding leaders of Africa. And you will remember in 1963, there was the debate whether the inherited boundaries should be inviolable. The arguments were then put forth, I think, a lot more strongly at that time by Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, and Haben Bela, and Gamal Abdel Nasser. So the doctrine of the inviolability of inherited boundaries took root. The argument they had then was that if you started redrawing boundaries, then there would be too much conflict in Africa. And for a time, of course, we were tied down, and we still continue to be tied down with these artificial boundaries. Simon, you will agree with me that indeed, the reason why the Osage Kwame Nkrumah called for the immediate unification of Africa was the very same thing that is happening now. He said, if we don't unite now, and these presidents and prime ministers that are emerging in these little artificial countries begin to get used with political power and the trappings of office, then Africa will never know peace. And I can't agree with you more. This is not a forum for going deep into history, but this is something I've said elsewhere. Your typical European nation is a nation state. One cannot quarrel with that. You go to Sweden, it is the Swedish, they have a small Finnish population, and they have special governance for them. You go to Finland, a Finnish population, a small Swedish population, they have a problem with them. And indeed, in Europe, as you rightly said, in countries like Spain, where you have a multiplicity of nations, the state is divided into 17 ethnically pure nations. The same is true of Switzerland. During our own lifetime, I think you and me have seen the Soviet Union collapse along tribal lines, creating Russia, Ukraine, Kyrgyzstan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and all these, Belarusia, and all these. The question that we must grapple with, and unfortunately, Simon, we are afraid to grapple with it. And the truth is that our fear is informed by our hypocrisy. We are hypocritical, particularly those of us who have had the advantage of what we call education, that is formal schooling. So that you would hear somebody who is a Yoruba, for example, or an Igbo, when he is at a forum where he thinks that he or she will be accused of ethnicity, saying, Nigeria must be the way it is. I've been on record as saying that most African countries must be renegotiated for their survival. The Swiss renegotiated their country. That is how you have a very weak center in Bern. You have the French speaking, the German speaking, the Romanian speaking, and the Italian speaking. Aside from Tanzania, which through the very active effort of Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, there is not a single African country that is grappling with the question of what you've described as negative diversity. And I can't agree with you more. Until the day that Africa begins to confront how to deal with diversity, there will be conflict after conflict in Africa. And as I conclude, I want to give you an example, if only to lend credence to your own argument. Ethiopia now. Ethiopia was being touted as a country that was beginning to realize major economic gains. As I speak to you now, the Tigray are rebelling against the government in Addis Ababa. The Amhara are also worried about the government in Addis Ababa. The Oromo are doing the same thing. Somalia is the same thing. You go to Sudan, in Darfur, in the Nuba Mountains, in Abyei. You go to Southern Sudan, you and me know the problem between the Nuer and the Dinka and the others. You go to Central African Republic, you go to the Democratic Republic of Congo, you go to even countries that we don't talk about very loudly. You go to Angola, the Ovambo and the Uvimbundu. You go now to South Africa. As I speak to you, the problem of the Zulu, now that they want to arrest Zuma, is beginning to arise. You go to Senegal, the problem of the Casamans. You go to Cameroon, you know the problem there. In Ambazonia, you come to your own country, the Oduduwa Republic, and Biafra, and one can go on and on. And I am suggesting to you, as I conclude, that you remember 2020 was meant to be the year of silencing the guns in Africa. The guns were never silenced. And we have now declared this decade as the decade of silencing the guns. And it is important, and I can't agree with you more, Simon, that until and unless African countries are renegotiated for their sustainability, African countries are going to collapse. In Nigeria, there may be, and you can hold these artificial countries for a long time by force of arm, but wisdom demands that you renegotiate them. And I've been on record as saying that it's important for the Abuja administration to listen to what is being said by the Igbo people in Biafra, to what is being said by the Ijo, to what is being said by the Ibibio, to what is being said by the Oduduwa. And that is the only way in which we are going to sustain these countries. Otherwise, one day, what is going to happen to many African countries is what happens to Yugoslavia. And it's instructive that the year before Yugoslavia collapsed, what had happened is an opinion poll had been conducted, and it reported that the people of Yugoslavia felt more Yugoslavia than they were Serbians or Slovenes. Within 1 year, the country that Tito had put together by force of arm and by ideology collapsed. And you know what happened in Yugoslavia. And as I said at the beginning, you know what happened with the Soviet Union. And you too know, even in China, which we think is homogeneous, you know the agitation of the Tibetans. You know the agitation of the Uyghurs. Even in India, the federal structures are working federal structure, because Nigeria is not federal. Nigeria claims to be federal. You and me know that that is not true. There was an attempt to renegotiate Nigeria before the Civil War, and you will remember the meeting that was attended by Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu in Aburi, and the perhaps, I do not know whether it's too late, but perhaps there may be wisdom in going back to Aburi and beginning to ask what it is that can be done. And these are things that I think we as Africans ought to bring on the table now, because if we do, there's going to be so many conflicts in Africa, and it will be the joy of the arms sellers in Europe and America and progressively Asia. So, Simon, I agree with you, and I understand that indeed what is happening in Africa, even when we talk about preparedness, not just for COVID, for everything, not just for COVID. Your typical scientist does not have the resources which he or she needs in order to engage in serious research. I remember 2 years ago, I was in Vienna, Austria, and I spoke and said all Africans should try and come back home. During the question and answer session, a young girl, a doctor from Zimbabwe, stood up, and she said she agreed with me on everything except she wanted me to answer one question. Said I was a doctor in Zimbabwe. When I left, my salary was the equivalent of $5 United States, and I had not received it for 6 months. Should I still go back to Zimbabwe? I said no. And my answer was informed by reality. Many a professional in Africa cannot function because our governments do not have the wisdom and the sense to resource them. And that is why I said that research and development is critical. Your typical African government will use money to buy arms. And in Africa during this COVID period, there is not a single country. Perhaps there is two exceptions in this regard, Rwanda and Tanzania, where funds set aside for COVID has not been stolen. Because the African government is a hunting ground, as you rightly said. Those who get into government see it as a job. They are job seekers whose only desire is to go into government and steal and to get pensions thereafter. It is in Africa where you find politicians seeking pensions, former presidents seeking pensions, members of parliament seeking pensions, and councillors. So I hope, Simon, that this debate which you planted in our minds today will not stop here. How can we introduce diversity of a positive kind? Because it appears to me, if I hear you correctly, that sometimes in order to unite, you must disengage. And that if you are in a bad marriage, to remain there simply because divorcing gives you the mark of Cain upon your forehead, you suffer eternal pain. I would want to engage you elsewhere so that this argument of negative diversity is looked at very keenly as one of the ways in which we can save the continent of Africa and make her unite. Thank you very much.
Ọkpụkpụ mbụ abụrụ ọkpụkpụ na-anọ mmadụ n'onu onye ahụ ka dị ndụ. No. Ọkpụkpụ nke m ọ nọrọ gị n'onu ogbuo gị pii. No matter what, you can't take it out. Agbago m Nigeria n'onu, gbaa ndị iro Biafra n'onu, gbaa ndị si na Biafra agaghị abịa in 2023 n'onu. Arọ m ha n'onu na-akụ ha wọwọ woto woto. Ọkpụkpụ a, you can never swallow it and you can never bring it out. So I want you people to understand that propaganda is ongoing. They even say they are signing petition to arrest Simon Ekpa. I do not know, what kind of petition they are signing to arrest Simon Ekpa for other reasons. These people don't understand that we are actually in freedom fighting. Freedom fighting where we do not validate Nigeria state. We are fighting for our freedom. Nigeria state have committed war crime, genocide, crime against humanity in our land, leading us to take the decisive decision we are taking today. And every necessary measure will be taken to make sure that we save Biafrans from Nigeria come 2023.
It happen, it show. Now our PM be that we know they look anybody for face, and we know they grieve for anybody. We know they look anybody for face, and we know they grieve for anybody.
That Simon Ekpa is not looking anybody's face. The only person I respect in this struggle is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I gave him my word that I will never disappoint him. Before you pick a fight, that Simon Ekpa is not looking anybody's face.
So now we go listen to Mazi Simon Ekpa. Make we hear waiting in reply Masanga. Oh, sorry, Lumumba, Professor Lumumba. Make we hear waiting he replied him. You see, if you remember very well, even him, our PM used to say before, he get the time where we go reach. Dialogue no good day. And you hear that prophet Ijinla, I believe Ijinla said, dialogue now. A time will come when you will call for dialogue, everybody go throw stone. Now it be this time. Those calling for restructuring, are they sorry? And the Lumumba here is saying maybe we go back to Aburi Accord. We are not ready to go back. We know they go back now. Ahead. Forward will they go. So make we quickly listen to our PM. Waiting our PM don't reply, give him. Make we hear him now.
Do I have 2 minutes?
All right. Yes, I'm hungry. Doctor is saying I have to eat.
Okay, so is it now?
Yeah, just now. Go ahead. All right, go ahead, Simon. Go ahead.
I should go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor. I am the happiest person today. It means that we are in a very right direction. Remember, you are one of the respected persons in Africa, and so having agreed somehow on this particular line of thought, we are expecting you to also be in the lead, because the point is that there are people who those leaders in Africa listen to, and you happen to be one of them that they're listening to. Now, you also mentioned something about Aburi. You touched a lot of things. You mentioned something about Aburi Accord, whether it is need to visit that or something like that, maybe because of what I have said earlier. Let me also put this in your mind, that the issue of Aburi, when we talk about Nigeria, the issue of Aburi is a no-go area, because a lot of things have changed. During the time of the Aburi Accord, we do not have 6 terrorist groups in Nigeria. And that 6 terrorist group, they are coming from one particular region. We do not have that during that time. So there are so many compelling factors that will make us not to talk about Aburi Accord. Aburi Accord or anything restructuring is out of question. Of course, some people may argue that, yes, let us restructure regionally and all that. And my question to them is, how do you restructure the 6 terrorist group? We need to handle this issue in a way to solve the terrorists, to solve the issue of insecurity. And we say we have researched and we know how to solve it. How to solve it is to, first of all, identify the reason why you have the terrorist group in Nigeria in the first place. What are the reasons? The reason is very simple. The terrorist group are fighting for Islamic State. What is Islamic State? Islamic State is a state where you have Sharia law. The Sharia law may be very extreme, but however, there is no difference between Islamic State and Sharia law. The Sharia law, Islamic State. Islamic State is Sharia law. Now, when you disintegrate Nigeria, automatically you have disintegrated the interest of the terrorist group that were formed to make sure that they turn Nigeria into Islamic State. Because, as I speak to you now, the 12 northern states in Nigeria already are practicing Sharia law. And even though we have Christians in the north, the northern Nigeria will be very comfortable with their Sharia law because they're already practicing that at the moment. That will also disintegrate the interests of the terrorists who are eyeing the middle belt of Nigeria and the southern Nigeria. When that is done, when Nigeria is created tribal line, the interest of this terrorist group already has been disintegrated 80%. How do we end this terrorism in the north? By that time, all terrorists will either lay down their arms in frustration, or they continue to launch terrorist attack in other neighboring countries like the Middle Belt, Biafra, and Ududua. And what do? We are going to have what we call a joint military operation for a complete wiping out of terrorists in Sahel region, because we are going to have compromised military. When we say compromised military, is that uncompromised military. In Nigeria today, you have compromised military. You have military who are sympathetic to the terrorists. And those who are ready to fight the terrorist group in Nigeria will never be allowed to become the chief of army staff. Even if they are allowed to become the chief of army staff, the chief of army staff does not go to one front. The people that goes to one front who are sympathetic to the terrorists, so it can never work, and it can never end the war on terrorism. But disintegration of Nigeria will end the war on terrorism. It will make us, Biafra people, Oduduwa people, and however, whichever country that is going to emerge from Nigeria, uncompromised military operation to bring Africa to a safe place. Like I said, the disintegration of Nigeria will be the beginning. Lastly, you also agree with what most of the things I've said, and I'm very happy for that. And it will be good that with this thing that you said I have planted in your minds today, we begin to discuss it. Let it begin to germinate. That sometime, you also agree that sometimes you need to, to disintegrate in order to come together. And that's what we're asking for. The disintegration of Nigeria, the disintegration of those who feel oppressed, who feel they are different, and for that, they are not being carried along in any government. Bringing them and making them go their way and govern themselves will strengthen the unity of Africa at the end of the day. And so submit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is 2 minutes African time. All right.
Do I have 2 minutes?
All right. Yes, I'm hungry. Doctor is saying I have to eat.
Okay, so is it now?
Yeah, just now. Go ahead. I'm sure 5 minutes. All right, go ahead, Simon. Go ahead.
I should go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor. I am the happiest person today.
Anyway, the video be say if you dey watch am, it be like make you no stop, make you rewind am, because waiting in answer the man there, that Lumumba, where they go about they preach about pan Africa, Africa, pan Africa. I don't know whether not the pan where did they take do what you call a plate, say pan, whether they get for tin and pan for just. I don't know whether not that one in one pan beat Africa. Listen, why they no get pan Europe? Why they no get pan America? We don't need any pan. What we need is to be freedom from every other hand where they grow, where they roam everywhere. We hear within our PM will tell them about going back to Aburi Accord or restructuring. When you want restructure, as our PM asks them, are you going to restructure the finalization, the terrorization as well? You go fit restructure the fact that thugs will be recruited into police. Thugs will be integrated into police, into army. You go restructure the fact, say terrorists are being pardoned and they are being pardoned and be integrated into military. And the Nigerian police officer go come boldly, continue say they are right, they have right to repent and become your president. Terrorist. While we are talking, you are going to restructure. Waiting you want restructure. And I ask question, waiting you want to restructure about this country where we call Nigeria. Waiting be that where they interested that anybody would want to restructure now in Nigeria. If they ask anybody that do you want to restructure, waiting that person go talk say you want to restructure. Where do you think you can restructure? When and how and what about? I put the link there. Master Sonny know they make it put link for your own. And that Biafra put link for your own. Anybody you're supposed to share this link in from your own side. So anybody that want to come in will see the link. Now only me if you share the link. And that Biafra take the link, press the link, share the link in your YouTube as well or Facebook, so that anybody that want to come in can come in and join what we are doing. Because I want people to really participate. Because this Pan-Africa and African Pan, I don't really understand. Maybe somebody that understand better will teach me and make me understand the why Pan-Africa. Instead of freedom, we are talking about Pan-Africa. Is
Okay.
Pan-Africa a way of freedom? Why Pan-Africa? Why Pan-Africa? Why are we not discussing our freedom? Instead, we discuss Pan-Africa. Why? I want to make everybody understand that anything where they happen, no matter how it want happen, the only thing in this life where you could do now your own freedom. Now it be the best thing will go happen to you. Your own freedom. If you think you want to restructure Nigeria, go on and restructure Nigeria. There is nothing to restructure in Nigeria. There is nothing you could restructure for Nigeria because nothing to restructure and then nothing to restructure again and again and again. So when you see people that talk, when you see people that blah Lumumba every time Pan Africa, every time a Pan African, every time Pan Africa, yeah, they ask waiting really in the work for. In the work for freedom, in the work for waiting. That Lumumba, Professor Lumumba, we go come every time you see me, they talk about um they talk about Pan Africa and this one and that one. And me, I don't even like his own way because anybody we no understand the good thing say not the way it's supposed to be. To me, not be the way it's supposed to be. There is nothing. Listen, you see Nigeria, for instance, nothing can, no remedy, nothing will save Nigeria. And unless only thing we go save Nigeria na separation. If they go on to tell us about, like Lumumba was telling us about the people that are living like in Spanish, this one, Spanish, all of them, they speak one language, by the way. They have almost one culture. Spanish just be like Biafra land, where you have Igbo, you have Calabar, you have Urume, you have Asian, you have this one, you have now so Spanish be. Spanish, you no get somebody like a Funani, you no get somebody like a Yoruba. No, they have one culture, they have one language. They have one language. So we are not going to remain, and we cannot there is nothing to pan Africa in Nigeria. We are not panning Nigeria. No, we are not panning Nigeria. We are separating Nigeria. No, yes, we are not panning Nigeria. We no go agree for panning Nigeria. We no go agree for anybody. For panning Nigeria, it is not going to work. I put the link in there. Mazis, share the link on your side. The other Biafra, share the link on your side. So let's see if Biafrans want to come in. If nobody want to come in, we will do them the way we will do them. We will round up in a short while so we can prepare for tomorrow. Tomorrow is another work day. So Ada Biafra, do you have anything to talk or make the talk they go?
Well, I am waiting for you when you finish. If you want me to say anything, let me know.
Okay, go on. Go on. Have the mic.
Yeah. You see, at this point where we are seeking for our exit from Nigeria, we have gone very far. Not just in terms of material things or what we have put in, but if you think of the number of Biafrans that have, gone down for this process of liberating ourselves and our freedom, nobody can reasonably expect us to cow down. Because to start with, these people are foreigners. That's number one, coming to tell us where to stay in our own land. Secondly, they are not coming in peace. They brought their people in. Anybody that wants to come to a country should follow the proper immigration rules. But we have very porous borders. They bring their people in. Nobody is stopping them from bringing them in and give them citizenship, because they are always holding on to power, holding on to political powers and economic powers. They are in control of everything in Nigeria since the inception of this amalgamation. Now, we the Christians, if you look at it religiously, we don't fight their trouble. We don't disturb them from their own religion. But they want to Islamize the whole country by force in 21st century. It cannot happen. It cannot. Because people like us, we were born as Christians, and so many other religion is there in the country. We are oil producing country. Many other countries that are oil producing countries are producing things, creating a lot of industries. I know when China used to be a third world country, today China is no longer a third world country. But look at Nigeria. Their economy is so poor. Their money kept getting devalued. They keep borrowing and borrowing. They keep squandering the money. They keep embezzling money. Very fraudulent government. You are killing people. You are not giving the citizens anything, like no infrastructure in that country. So, I mean, nobody will expect us to continue residing with these people, answering that name like a cost name, Nigeria. When Onyendu called them zoo, I sat down somehow and said, zoo, when you get to zoo, you will see that animals are kept in sections and things will be in orderly. But I think they could be properly addressed as wild animals. They are just like wild animals where other animals eat their fellow animals. This is very unacceptable. In this dispensation, you are buying people anyhow on daily basis because you want to Islamize us. To think of it, this religion, they all came from abroad. None of them originated from Africa. But the common thing we can do for ourselves, sell that our oil, use it to develop that country. No. Nigeria is deteriorating on daily basis, very, very fast. People cannot eat 1 square meal, let alone 2 or 3. Graduates will go to school, they will come out, they will be used as stocks. I mean, we cannot be expected to be with these people. We fall in parallel line with them. When the Ojukwu group seceded in decided to go our separate way in 1966, do you know what they saw? They saw a lot. They saw a lot of things. And what is happening now? You know, the other day I was in our information minister's Twitter handle. What I saw there, that is in the bush, I couldn't believe it. You know, because of YouTube and Facebook, we don't display things here. Is this what we are going to be seeing? Little girls abducted, young men died in their hundreds. You grab someone, you go and put them in prison. Nobody will take them to court for court to decide whether what they have done is right or wrong. A country that is so lawless. But the nitty-gritty is that our movement is on its way and we have gone very far. We have gone very far. Trying to enumerate the reasons why we are leaving these people is like going back to what we have already crossed. But we are not looking back. We are not looking back. These people, they are very, I mean, it's terrible. There is like buying a cobra and keeping it with your young children. One day you come back and you see that it has swallowed all your kids. What will you do? We cannot live with these people. We cannot. Even now that Mr. Tinubu, the zoo president, is there, his people are crying. Every day, if you go on the internet, YouTube, you see them crying, lamenting. And the Oduduwas, those who are agitating, they said that they are not giving up. After 4 years now, their brother will leave that position. So we are living, and I thank God for our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I thank our indomitable Prime Minister, who is not giving up at all. I love his resilience. As for what this man is talking about, Pan-Africa, the way I understand it is just a united African. He wants a united African. When he is preaching all over Africa, he wants all the African leaders to come together like the former Organization of African Unity, created by people like Kwame Nkrumah, Lumumba, Zik of Africa during their time. But we don't have such leaders now. What we have now are puppet leaders, people who do the bidding of their masters. And when you come down within nation, you will see that what these Fulanis are doing is using all the governors against their own people. So when you come, you will say, oh, Hope Uzodinma, was the other one in Enugu, that he's the one killing us. Yes, but they are the ones inciting them to do that killing for them. They are the ones inciting them, because before you become a governor in the southeast or anywhere, you go to the north and swear. Take a note that you will look after the interests of the Fulanis, because they feel marginalized. They feel disrespected because they live in the bush. We don't live in the bush. That is their lifestyle. We are not the one that made their lifestyle that way. Other African countries don't accept them. Mali drove them away. Burkina Faso drove them. Ghana also drove them away. So they now found Nigeria as a very fertile ground for them to come and establish themselves. They can do that, but with Biafra land, it is not for them. With somebody like our Prime Minister and our Onyendu, they will not succeed. And all of you here with me, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adabiafra. Mazi Sonny, you don't come, but if you go leave Sandra, make you just talk before you carry the microphone, because I know you would like to go in. So, Sandra.
Hello, good evening.
And they were. Sorry, let nobody call me on the phone. Anybody that wants you come into the studio, it's late. I cannot take telephone call now. People up here, they are complaining. So please. Okay, Sandra.
Yeah, thank you so much. See, I just watch and listen to Professor, what is it called, Muzumba. I stand to be correct. I don't know if I mentioned his name correctly. See, sometimes I am so disappointed in these so-called professors for one reason. In fact, many reasons. You see, I believe that these people, you know why? Sometimes I believe that when people understood what they read in school, they will not be foolish. I'm sorry to say, because this man is older than I am. Why I say they are foolish? Because these people, they always come and speak bogus English, make us understand that they read book, they have all this kind of degree, but they will stand on Facebook and talk and talk and talk. At the end of the day, they do nothing. They do nothing about their freedom. They prefer to be a slave to a white man. They don't even know what the white people has done to Africans. Truly speaking, if these people know what white people have done to Africans, they will not just claim, I'm a professor, I can speak bogus English, and at the end of the day, they will use me to deceive my people. This is nonsense. Because I believe that they are used, because formerly, before Martin Luther was arrested, I listened to this man. He talks very good. When Martin Luther was arrested, this man did nothing. He always come and speak big English, and that was when I lost hope totally from this man. I totally lost hope. I am not surprised by him agreeing all what Master Simon Ekpa has said, because our Prime Minister is a genius. He's a man that know what he read, what he went to school for. You see these people that they would just sit down, they would like to travel to Austria, travel to many places to just go and speak big English and deceive their own people. That is why I'm just like, I'm being surprised. It pains me a lot. Instead of you to bring us, since you read white man's language, because people think when you read book, you have this degree, it means you're intelligent. No. For me, these people, they just go and just learn this their English, read it, throw their culture, throw everything away. They'll come and be speaking about Pan-Africa when their own people, they are not even united. We are not united. First of all, we have to be united within us, like we now with the BIAFRANS. We are trying to leave Nigeria. We are trying to live. This man should be talking about freedom, how we should go. All Africans should be free. We are not free, first of all, because with this kind of people, the white people will be using them to torture us. They will just come and speak big English. It will look sweet in the ear. It will look sweet in everywhere. At the end of the day, we still remember where we are. The reason why, because the people that came to enslave us, they don't have this kind of grammar. They didn't go to this kind of degree. They only use churches and this kind of people to just deceive everybody. And this man is still coming here to be speaking big English. They should better stop it and stay in their lane. They should stay in their lane. We are tired. This level that we are now with the Biafran, we have, according to Martin and Martin said, we have crossed the Rubicon. There's no returning back. They should not come and be talking about Pan-African when we are in war. This one will just come and be quoting cities, quoting country in Biafra and in Nigeria, quoting country in all the African country. What have you done? What are you doing to free your people? Is it to speak big English? Go to borrow English, borrow language. You are not doing anything about yours. You see the Chinese man today will come and speak Chinese, the Chinese person. When you come and be speaking your own language, they will be calling you illiterate. That is something I cannot understand it. Really. You understand? These people should just stay in their lane. They should stay in their lane and stop deceiving people. We have opened our eyes. We know what is going on right now. It's not like before that we don't know. We'll be clapping for them. Look at intellectuals. Like Mazin used to call them that they are intellectuals. This man is one of the biggest intellectuals I've ever seen in my whole life. Truly speaking, I'm just so annoyed. I'm also annoyed.
Sella cool.
No, this thing is getting, it's too much. No, it's too much. The whole professor, he will just come and speak big English. He will just deceive his people, deceive every African country. People will believe in them. At the end of the day, we still remember where we are. Enough is enough. If not for Mazin and the Kano, Simon Ekpa, we would, I don't even know how to put this in English. I'm tired.
Stella. Sorry. Sandra, make a now, Sandra, I want you to hear one thing. The person, that's why I say I don't want to make anybody panos. If they tell you of Lumumba, Pamunkuruma, Thomas Sankara, what happened to Thomas Sankara? Who kill him? Nami. What happened to Lumumba? Who kill him? Nami. Who commit him? Who be the person who say make he die? Nah, the same people where they pan the Africa. Anybody where they talk anything outside freedom, no, they talk. Mazena Negalu say, once you go to school in Africa, you don't become slave forever. Those titles are useless. Mazen Sone, carry on.
Is it my turn?
Nah, your turn.
Okay. I think somebody's microphone is.
No, I've taken care of that.
Pre-echoing. All right. I salute all Biafrans and lovers of freedom and haters of Biafra and those coming to kill Biafrans. As we have promised you that you continue to die in Biafra land, so continue coming. Please let me know if the sound from the background is coming in here, because there are noises from the background here. Is it coming in? Is it disturbing?
It's okay.
It's okay? All right. Food soldiers coming into Biafra land, you will continue to die in numbers. Sandra, I salute you there in the studio, and every other Biafrans listening, and those that will be coming into the studio to speak with us. Now, professors can never give you freedom because there are no freedom fighters. Professors are people that their main work is to teach you what you should know. Their own is not to come and fight for freedom for you. They are just to go and revisit history, come back and tell you what you should know, what you did not know, what will help you in being able to know the real criminals that kept you where you are. There is a lecture documentary where he unveiled a lot of things. So those that are dormant in their brains should always learn from that professor. Everyone does not need to be a freedom fighter. That is one thing you should know. And understand that this is the same man that have stood in the council of one Nigerian Islamic Caliphate, where you have Oblesi Sodima, all the Abuja terrorists, and all the leaders in the presidency. He was addressing them and calling them thieves and criminals and terrorists and murderers, that murders their children in their sleeps, their babies, and cut off heads. He was asking them, now that they are re-inaugurating you into power, now that they are re-electing you into power, are you coming to be another murderer to your children? Are you coming to aid Fulani terrorists again? Are you coming to help the jihad to expand and to kill the entirety of human beings in one Nigeria? Those are the words this man was telling to the faces of the Nigerian criminal terrorist politicians. Which of the elders in one Nigeria, both in the north and in the east, can ever open their mouth to say such to the faces of the Nigerian terrorists? They can never. So you see that there are ways and manners that God has created everyone to serve. It is not that you must be Simon Ekpa, our Prime Minister. It is not that you must be our Supreme Leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. It is not that you must be me. It is not that you must be Mazi 247 here or Ada Biafra or Sandra you or all the Biafran liberators that are in Biafra land. No, you have a way to serve. The words of everyone act in one way or another at the end of the day, coming to give one result, which heads to the freedom. As he speaks every day like this,
he is opening the minds of people. If you had people like this speaking up from our Biafra land, I tell you that one Nigeria would have been on their knees long before now. But the people you have in one Nigeria and in Biafra land are those that lick the wounds of the terrorists. When terrorists go and dip their Ebola in animals and come back, what they now come to do is that they give it to our elders who wants to continue to answer politicians in one Nigeria. They lick their wounds and then continue to praise one Nigeria, that Nigeria will be better. But this man, in the face of death, have sat to tell all the Nigerian leaders to their faces that they are criminals and terrorists, eating up their babies, their children, their women and men every single day. I understand that many of us are disappointed from the elders and leaders of Africa. But this one alone is been outspoken. Our Prime Minister was in this debate and was educating him in contrast with all that he was saying and also giving a solution. You know, if you're not a freedom fighter, you will always be giving the exposés of what is happening, but you will not have the solutions. But as a freedom fighter, so I want you to understand two things here. In his debate, he was giving you the problems of one Nigeria and the problems of Africa, but he did not have the solutions. But there came a freedom fighter in their midst who came out now to give them the solution to those problems. He did well to outline them and make people to understand this is what we are facing. This is how Africa was kept on the table and divided in segments by the criminal Westerners who claims to be the world power. But did he have a solution to that? Did he have any antidote to solve that problem? No. But then came the Prime Minister of the indigenous people that came into the debate and then was giving them the solution to those problems. Because when you say we are looking for peace, and then you're dying in the face of looking for peace, then there is no peace. You must not continue to deceive yourself and say we are doing good, whereby your women and children and babies are being slaughtered every day in the name of looking for peace. No, that is not peace. That is being in pieces. So the Prime Minister came in there as a freedom fighter to give solutions to all the argument that was on the table. And then we have the solution that we have today. And we are about to declare the restoration of the independence of Biafra. I salute all Biafrans and those listening to us. It is also pathetic for you to see that today, United Nations of Criminals, the corrupt body, who was instituted during an inside and onslaught, United Nations came to be during an inside and onslaught that consumed the lives of thousands and millions. But today, that same United Nations has become a very corrupt entity. That United Nations have aided and abetted massacres of Christians in one Nigeria. Let me give you an example. During Buhari's regime of over 8 years, this is the same United Nations that did what? Advocated for the terrorists to be reintegrated into the community so that they will go and then finish the unfinished slaughter of babies, women, and children, which they had slaughtered. These terrorists slaughtered babies, women, and children, and then displaced all of them to IDP camps. And while they are yet surviving and striving in the IDP camps, they will still go back there to go and kill them inside the IDP camps again. The United Nations Secretary General came and then said, it is of best interest that you reintegrate the acclaimed repentant terrorists who have massacred these people already, displaced them from their homes, make them to now live in IDP camps. It is good that you now reintegrate them back into the same community so that they can come and finish the unfinished slaughter that they had done. It is the same United Nations in collaboration with the UK Secretary of State under this Biden administration that did what? That removed Nigeria from list of religious violators, especially to the Christendoms. How many Christians have been massacred for the past 8 years under the watch of Buhari? How many now have you seen under the watch of this Tifunubu, the drug baron. Since One Nigeria was removed from the list of religious violators, have you calculated, that happened in November 2021. Have you calculated how many people have been massacred from now to this time? Today, they now use Christians massacre and slaughter as a game of competition by the Fulani terrorists, jihadis, supervised by the government of the day, headed and shielded by the Nigerian Defense Headquarters, the Nigerian Army of One Nigeria, the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Air Force, and the Nigerian nonsense, everything, because they are all the same terrorists and terrorists and terrorists. All of you have seen a video where police have now reintegrated terrorists back into the police uniforms. They told you, no, they are just vigilantes are now police. They give them weapons. You now see terrorists. You have also seen another Boko Haram terrorist who had ravaged communities, raped women and children, and slaughtered them to pieces. Now wears army and police uniform. The same United Nations have done what? Overlooked everything, and yet they are helping One Nigeria and having meetings with them every day. The worst part of it is that United Nations are opening their mouth to tell the entire world that the Christian slaughter in the entirety of the contraption of One Nigeria, most especially in Biafra lands, is as a result of climate change. Then you ask, what climate change occurs that now occurs in the hands of Fulani terrorists? Is it Fulani terrorists that are now the climate changers? They are changing the climate by using their knives, AK-47, to slaughter and to annihilate the indigenous people and send them to IDP camp. That is climate change. But the United Nations have not also concluded that it is climate change that is happening in Gaza. They have not also concluded that it was climate change that happened in Israel. They are counting 100 days for us that there are people in Gaza Strip that have been held hostages. And then they are now calling on Israel. You're calling on Israel, and then you're counting 100 days. You're calling on Israel, you're counting 100 days. But you're not calling on Nigeria and counting 8 years of over how many people that have been massacred. Over 100 people have been massacred in the contraption of One Nigeria for the past 8 years during Buhari administration. I have not even counted what is happening during this Tifunubu drug baron now. I'm just giving statistics of over the 100,000 that have been massacred during the 8 years that the You People United Nations supervised Buhari and spearheaded him in everything that he did. And then you are counting 100 days for people in Gaza Strip, and you're calling on Israel. So 100 days is far more important and bigger than 8 years of over 100,000 people that have been massacred in One Nigeria under Buhari regime. We have not counted the one that is happening now in Tifunubu regime. And then all of you are happy and counting 100 days. Oh, yes, the lives of the people in One Nigeria, butchered and massacred by the Islamic jihadists, are not so important. Their lives are no priority because they are black-skinned. I heard you people say it on CNN, that their lives are no priority, they are black-skinned. That if it were to be where there is white-skinned Africans, they would have gone for a solution. Oh, America, where is that thing? And United Nations, where is thy dignity? Corrupt entity as you have become, you can speak where you see white skin. You can speak and be calling 100 days in Gaza Strip, held hostage because American citizens are involved. Few American citizens are involved in the Gaza Strip ransom. If the few American citizens are not involved, you wouldn't even be talking anything, because you would have just abandoned and say, oh, it is the Israelis, abandon them, it is the Jews, allow them to die because their life is not important. Their lives are no priority. But the Biafran people have a message for you that your corrupt entity cannot stop the indigenous people of Biafra from restoring their independence nation. Come October, November, you are welcome to Biafra Helsinki Declaration 2024. And there is nothing that can stop us. That self-defense that you preach on the other side, and then when you come to the Biafran people, you turn it around and say it is because of climate change that is causing the massacre. It is that same defense that is instituted in your international charter that we are exercising, and we will exercise it until the day Biafra is restored. We will continue to kill every terrorist that is coming to Biafra land, to kill our babies, women and children and men from the surface of this very earth. It is self-defense, and it is there in George Charter, and we will continue to implement it until Biafra is restored. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya through the connivance of your United Nations and your UK, which you call the Commonwealth. When somebody hear of Commonwealth, you think that Commonwealth is in the thin air. The Commonwealth office that you hear of is in the royal family of the United Kingdom. So they decide how the world should be ruled. They decide who should speak and who should not speak. They decide when they do this and when they should not do it. That is why the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has become a dormant thing in the Commonwealth system. The Commonwealth system that reigns and lies in the bosom of the Queen of England and the kings of England and the princes of England. You guys enjoy the death of the Biafran people, the death of the indigenous people in Nigeria, but what happens? Their oil and gas is extra important to you all. Oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not Umar Odiko. If it were to be Umar Odiko, who had nothing to do with destroying Nigeria and bringing Nigeria to an end because of the massacre of countless numbers of people, oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would have been released long before now. His case wouldn't have escalated this far. Oh, Umar Odiko did not have anything that has to do with bringing one Nigeria down. Umar Odiko was not even against whether you massacre or commit genocide or slaughter babies and children in their sleep. No. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the man that has come to open the eyes of everyone. Because if the professors continue to quote the history of the slavery of Africans in the hands of the Portuguese, the Spanish, the English, and the French, it will not end without an action. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has come to take the action. And then his spiritual son is standing in now to make sure the finishing line is drawn. And all of you are running Jigigba. Continue to run. We can assure you that we are not backing down because we cannot allow our women and children to be massacred and then remain unprovoked. We have been provoked for years, and enough is enough. That is why we have declared Operation No Mercy for the terrorists. The Islamic country of one Nigeria can only reign where you people give them the enabling environment. In Biafra land, it is not where to reign. Only in 24 hours, you have seen series of massacre upon massacre upon massacre. My minister here, Mazuko, was in the studio before now to give you a chronological order of massacre that has happened in just a day, within 24 hours. And then you ask yourself, is it a secular state? Is it a country where you claim you have presidents, you have ministers of defense, you have ministers of the army and the police, you have all sorts of nonsense calling themselves ministers? You cannot do anything. Instead, what they do is that they aid and abet the terrorists. They help the terrorists to make sure they carry out everything. Abuja, that they call a capital city, is under siege and nobody is taking it serious. Politicians in Abuja are now living at their, oh my God. Now that one, they make me laugh, sir. Because we told them, but they did not listen. All those ones that have run out from Biafra land to think that Abuja is a safe haven for them. You have seen where the people that were kidnapped. They were kidnapped in big men quarters. They were not kidnapped in poor people's homes. Mazigo, please take off from here. I've been interrupted and I'll be back, please.
Okay, but if for good if you continue finish this, because me I don't talk finish for my own mouth. Anyway, BIAFRANS, like our Mazi Sonny, the Honorable Minister for Info, was saying today, under 24 hours, so many things happen. And you no go ever think, say, now for Abuja it happen. For Enugu, where they tell you, say, they get army. Nobody they ever carry army to fight insecurity, but they carry army to fight Biafra. Abia State, they call army, come build army, build military barracks every corner. But the thing is, say, that will not save you. It will not save any of them. Be it anybody. Mba of Enugu, Peter Mba, that military where they dig here and there, they put everywhere, it will not save anybody. And the Enugu, it can't save you. Now in Enugu State, every day, things they happen. 43, I mean 46 people. 46 people today. In Enugu. In Abuja, 34, I mean 36. Mother and the 4 children included. Mother and 4 children. One of the 14 and be one of the 20-something kidnapped teenager died today, 13-year-old. A father was kidnapped with 4 children. And we are talking. We are begging people to join what we are doing. You think there is no way you can run to. No Pan-African anywhere is coming to save anybody. No Pan-African anywhere is coming to save anybody. When we are saying that this Abuja, you see, a time is coming that they will get to Abuja. People think it was a lie. People think we were lying or joking. But today, Abuja is not even safe. Abuja is not safe. Where will you run to? Lagos is not safe. Abuja is not safe. I think when this Abuja will finally be taken over. There's something, a video Ugezu, the veteran actor, there was a video he made. He was asking in that video, what will happen one day if you wake up and find out that Abuja is now under the control of the terrorist Fulani? What will you do? What will you do? Nothing. I listened to the Street Vibe today where they were asking people, they say, we are adapting. We have to adapt. Nigerians know how to adapt. You will adapt into hellfire. They put you in hellfire, you adapt. They put you into buying your children before your eyes, you adapt. They carry your daughter, clear one before your eyes, you adapt. They carry your wife, clear one before your eyes, you adapt.
Hey, God, my people are in trouble.
Anybody that is still adapting, anybody that is still adapting and they're hoping that adapting will save you, they go put you for fire so you go become better adapter. I say all this grammar, that thing, Pan-African, it is not going to help anybody because ever since I was little, I've been the here Pan-Africa, 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 Pan-Africa. For Italy, pan na bread. Oh. For Spain, pan na bread. For English, pan na tea. Pan-Africa. And the people are telling you they will unite you. Who is coming to unite you? We know the thing. That's our own. We know the thing. That's why Mazena Dekalo said that everybody where you see where go school, their brain is they empty because the school where they go, they don't learn anything. No be tied to be the shit. Now waiting day inside, now be the thing. Adabiafra, you wanted to say something?
No.
Okay.
I was just trying to concur to what you were saying.
All right. All right. Sandra, are you there? You still want to say anything?
As you go,
Hey.
because our information minister has explained further, but all the same, I still maintain my stand that people, after speaking the big grammar, they should do something. Try to educate other people that they think they didn't know about the history. Since they know the history, come up with idea, and they should join Mazi Simon Ekpa, to liberate Africans, not just to talk about Pan-Africa. We've been hearing this since we were little. Now our children is start very in a short while, and they will start giving birth also. You understand? They will still be talking about Pan-Africa. When will African people, when will they be wise? Don't just being a professor for nothing. Just use it. Help your people with it. Help Africans with it. Educate people. When you see somebody like Simon Ekpa fighting for freedom, you come and support him with your full chest. You understand? You support him, disintegrate whatever we need to disintegrate so that we will be free. And after then, we'll start from our home. Like I said earlier, not by talking about Pan-Africa, try to unite all the whole Africa together. Whereas in our home, just like Nigeria, for instance, we have to disintegrate first of all. Before we start uniting ourselves, even we, the BIAFRANS, we are not even agreeing. We don't agree with each other for now. You understand? That does not mean that we are not one people. Every country has it, but we first of all start from our home. It should start from his home before it will extend the coming together to all Africans. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
They should it should start from his home first. This is where he come from. Oh, let me start from this one. Let's start uniting ourselves. How we need to break out. We should break out like this so that these European people will not be using us as a slave anymore. You understand? So Africa is the lowest people on this planet. You understand? If only anytime they want to do any rubbish, is Africa. Anytime they want to call the lowest of the people, is Africans. So we have every resource that they are the ones that are supposed to be coming to Africa to be making money the way we are coming, the way we are here. And now the reverse is the case. Not that we don't have the resources, but we don't see it. We don't, because we are feeding people that we're not supposed to be feeding, or because of greed. Man, that is my own take this evening. If this message should go to the professor, it should start from his home. Charity begins at home, they say.
Thank you so much. Well, before my people listen to because me, I really
Depending on where you are watching from, this is live and direct on Enter Biafra Channel 2, Voice of Biafra 97.5 FM in Biafra land, and on all autopilot IPOB platform, and of course on the media platform of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile. This evening we have come to make an exposition of how they have handed over to Islamic State in Nigeria, while ignorant Nigeria are still waiting to see magic on the 29th of May. We are going to analyze the handover of the transitional document to the Escobar Pablo Ahmed Bola Tinubu and the founder of the Boko Haram, Shetima. I want all of you to understand that this evening we will open your eyes to know the impunity that is going to come, and your only hope is Biafra liberation. I want to also expose something in the video today. While the man in Aso Rock was taking Bola Tinubu on the tour of Aso Rock, he slumped and almost fell. And I know nobody noticed that particular slumping of Tinubu, but I noticed it. And I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you where and how and when Tinubu slumped on that video. So you must watch this evening broadcast. Very, very important. For that reason, if you are watching and following us on Twitter, we are going to stop the video on Twitter. The idea is so that you come to Enter Biafra is our own platform. You're going to watch this video from Enter Biafra channel 2. The link is posted on Twitter. Click on the link to take you to the to Enter Biafra. You can sign in if you want to make comment on Enter Biafra. Sign in with your either Gmail, Facebook, or LinkedIn. So on that note, if you are watching from Twitter, we will say, excuse us, please. Join us on Enter Biafra. Thank you very much. All right. So without wasting any time, we are going to go straight to our exposition. And this exposition is going to be very, very fast. All right. And here we go.
Yes, it's all good with all that. Oh, everything together. Oh, okay. So the next thing we are doing is to invite the president. The transition documents are going to be handed over to the president-elect now by President Muhammadu Buhari.
The transitional document is going to be handed over to the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to ask you, is this the first time that Nigeria has conducted presidential election? Have you ever seen where a transitional document were handed over to a president-elect without being sworn in? I want to ask you a question. In the history of your Nigeria, have you seen where a transitional document were handed over to the president-elect without oath of office? Without oath of office, without being sworn in. It means is what you see here is that everything about Nigeria has been bastardized. It is not all about norms. It is not all about law. It is not all about the constitutional matter. It is not all about what the law of Nigeria say. It is now a complete Islamic doctrine where they have no single regard to Nigeria constitution. They never had anyway. So it is time they are grabbing this particular power by force. For that reason, they are now, doing it that whatever that is going to happen, let it happen. So if you are a Nigerian, some of you that are claiming to be one Nigerian, if you are a Nigerian and you are expecting that on the 29th of May, you are going to see another different transitional document to be handed over to Tinubu, or you are going to see another GOCN or GS, whatever nonsense they answer, to be conferred on him, you are a big fool. Here is the complete handover to Tinubu Islamic State. They have handed over the transitional document. They have even given him the staff. The staff. I want you people to watch and tell me, since you have been following the Nigeria election and handover, whether you have actually seen such thing. So I want you to watch.
you have the baton of service, which President Buhari will also hand over to the President-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFI.
And then you have the baton, which is a staff. The baton of service has already been handed over to Bola Tinubu. And I want to ask you, foolish Nigerians, have you ever seen, since your stupid self has been following in Nigeria, have you ever seen a video where the president is handing over the baton of service to an elected president or president-elect without officially having sworn oath of office, without the swearing-in ceremony and everything? Have you ever seen anything like that? You know, some of us, if you see, so, please tell us. Have you seen where the baton of service, which means they have conferred to him, the president of Nigeria, they have handed over the staff of service to him? What again is he going to collect on the 29th of May? Is he going to collect the staff of Aso Rock separately? Or is he going to collect the staff of National Assembly? I don't know. But the most important thing that always will be handed over to the president is the transitional document, which is the document that has everything that he needs to know. Handover. It is called handover. So it has when you say handover, what are you handing over? You are handing over the transitional document. You are handing over the document that contain all the activities of your government, all the things you have done, the finance, the debt, everything that you have done. You are handing over the document to the next president. That is what is happening here. So on the 29th is probably a ceremony, you know, but I don't know whether they have actually explained to those who are waiting until 29 before their heaven will fall, whether they have actually explained to you that 29 is not a handover. Handover has just happened here. And this is happening with impunity because of, you know, the crisis that is looming here and there. They have to do it in a very shady way to avoid what is going to come. But let me tell you, you see this thing they are trying to avoid, they can never avoid it. It is going to come either way. So let us watch. Again.
Yes, it's all good with that. Oh, everything together. Oh, okay. So the next thing we are doing is to invite the president. The transition documents are going to be handed over to the president-elect now by President Muhammadu Buhari.
All right.
Then you have the baton of service, which President Buhari will also hand over to the President-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFI.
All right, and then we go to the next video, and I hope some of you have seen it.
See where the man for. Adieu.
Now, what you just watched now is the tour of Aso Rock. After they handed over to him, they take him around and they were touring Aso Rock to show him Aso Rock. Now, there is something happened here, which I want to show all of you. Pay attention. Now, here is Tinubu coming. As you can see, Tinubu is here in the light blue, something like that. I want you to pay attention very much. Pay attention very, very well. And watch how he is going to slump. I want everybody to watch. This man is a dead man walking. He's a cop walking. Now watch. Watch. Watch him. Watch him. This is him. And Buhari is, or the man in Aso Rock, is behind him. So watch now. He is slumping here. You see? He almost fall. Did you notice that? He almost fall here. You see? Let's take it back a little bit. Look. Did you see that? The man is not walking. He's not standing strong. And immediately he slumped like this. He maintained that particular position. He stood right there. He never moved again. Watch. He has to stand for a while to recover. It is an instruction. Instruction given to him by the people that are, pumping whatever drugs they are pumping into his system. So once he slumped like that, they have instructed him to stand. Don't move again until you regain your strength back. That's exactly what happened here. Now, let us allow the video to roll. He slumped and he stand there. He stand there, and while he was standing, it even looked like he holds something. Look, he stood there, and he wanted to sit on the pavement there because there is no strength again. So he has to stay there for a while. You see, he is now bending and supporting himself either on that table. Now, he moved. Of course, I will tell you that he wanted to take he stopped again. He will tell you he wanted to take pictures. I want everyone, let us watch it again. Now, when you look at the place, you are going to see that there are furniture. So he supported himself on that furniture. Look here. Look here. Look here. He was almost falling down. If it is not because of the furniture that is now supporting him, he would have been on the ground by now. Look, you see? And then he holds his hand there. Look. He fall almost, and then he now supported himself there. And he wanted to sit down. I want you to also look the way he wanted to sit down. Look. Now, watch closely the body movement. He got a little bit lower by bending the knee because he wanted to sit on that particular furniture. Now watch. Look, he bent down backward, and he did not see any supporting thing on his back. And then he leaned front again. Now watch. You see? Did you see that? Did you see that? Now they want to speak. Look, you get up again. You have to pay very close attention for you to notice what I'm talking about. And he looked very confused. You know, he looked very, very confused. He just, you know, it's like an old man who is celebrating birthday, and he was just wondering what is going on. You know, he don't know that it was, that he's celebrating his birthday. People gather and make cake and bring drinks, and he's just looking at everybody. What is going on here? That is exactly what is happening to this man.
When you mark this one, you will come. I beg.
Look, here he go. And then he want to sit down. He realize he can't sit down, then he get up again. He's just looking for anywhere to support himself. All right, so you've just listened to it and you just watched that particular video. What it means is that the handover has been done, and on the 29th, it will be very interesting to know whether they are going to hand over another transitional government document, or they are going to hand over another staff of service, you know, and name it. So, of course, I know. As we are making this exposition, they are watching. So they are going to go back and cook up something. But I just want people to know that they have handed over to Islamic State, Islamic agenda, Muslim ticket, and for that reason, things will never ever remain the same in Nigeria until Biafra liberate themselves this year. When you are asking, when is this Biafra coming? Ask yourself, what are you doing yourself for the liberation of Biafra? Are you participating? Are you financially funding the Biafra liberation? Because it is now that the finance is needed like never before. You don't just sit by the side expecting that Simon Ekpa or the government will come and start giving you a report of how Biafra is going to be liberated. You are waiting for somebody to fund Biafra for you, so that you come and start claiming what you are not. If you want Biafra and you want your freedom, you have to participate in fighting for the freedom. Otherwise, don't ask questions. You don't ask questions. Those who are participating and are part of what we are doing have the right to ask questions, and we are going to answer their question. But those who have never contributed anything, nor show that they are interested, the only thing they do is when you are going to fail. You have no place and you have no right to ask question for anything. Those who claim to be whatever I don't know the group they are, asking question, you did not contract Simon Ekpa to be directly responsible for whatever we are doing. So you have no right to ask Simon Ekpa whether the government in exile is real or not. You are not, we don't regard you as a Biafran. I am telling you the fact. When Biafra come, we are going to know how you are going to meet the requirement to get passport, whether you are a Biafran to get driver's license, whether you are a Biafran to qualify for many benefits by the National Insurance Scheme of Biafra. So all those things are going to be, at least, those who are not even talking now may be more privileged. Those who never showed themselves their face anywhere may be more privileged than those constituting nuisance and betraying the struggle in the name of their have access to social media. Because believe me, we are picking and taking records of everybody. We are recording your names and the activities you have done. We are recording everything you are doing today. So do not think that you are going to do all those things and go free. If the law did not get you now, we are waiting for you in Biafra. So those who never uttered a word, those who we don't know what they stand for, may be having a better chance and opportunity than you who came and become a betrayer publicly. I'm telling you the fact. Our sit at home on the 29th and 30th is coming, where a lot of things will go down. We are going to unveil some of the template for the Biafra liberation. And Biafra people will be waiting and expecting the activation of the Biafra de facto government in Biafra land. What we are going to be doing is to make sure that on the 29th, after the vote of no confidence, we are going to strip all the powers, the right that the governors have. We're going to take away the right and the power from the senators, from the local government chairman, and the gate will be open. So it is an invitation to everyone, both pastors, both native doctors. In fact, we would really want to see every religious people in Biafra land to be part of this vote of no confidence. If you have a native doctor friend, please invite the person to come to the Zoom and do his native doctor thing. If you have a pastor, please invite the person who is a pastor to the Zoom, to the voting, to also, so we are going to give instruction what they are going to do. Because after 29th, believe me, Biafra land will never remain the same. Never will Biafra land remain the same. Never will those corrupt politicians remain the same in Biafra land. We are going to make sure that after the vote of no confidence, we put it into practice. We put it into practice right from that moment, physically and spiritually. And I'm going to open the video calls for those of you who will want to ask questions or who want to make a comment. Our video interactive section will be open for the next 20 minutes. Here we go. Onyeka, you're welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, my great leader. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the good job. BIAFRANS, sir, thank you all. All you have been doing, anywhere you are participating in this liberation, being fed by the true Biafra freedom. Sir, I want to say these people, they are so desperate. I don't think this man will last 1 year in that office if eventually take over. So I want to push him, and when he will take over. I pity for the people where they support this man. I pity for them. They don't know what is coming. Thank you for this exposition, my leader. And rightly said, it's like you enter my mind. I was telling some of my community town youth.
Ada Biafra, I see Sonny is no longer coming, so we have to round up and go, because tomorrow is a working day. I will not go the West. I mean, you be like say something where carry something come out. The thing they men, the thing they're very serious. So
Yes.
I beg, just use 1 minute and say your closing remarks, so we can close. I beg, just 1 minute.
All right. Thank you, my fellow Biafrans. I appreciate your coming whenever we are on here. Let us all keep the hands on deck. We have gotten our Biafra. It remains finishing touches. And let us not forget about our donation. I know we are over 50 million. If we donate $1, that will be $50 million. So my people, let nobody be bothered about anything Nigeria. We have crossed that Rubicon long time ago. Biafra is here, especially my sister Stella. I know it's a long time that she attended. We have actually crossed all that. We have gotten Biafra and nobody can take it away from us. Thank you, my minister.
Thank you so much, Wada Biafra. And Biafrans, I greet all of you, and I must say thank you so much for being part of this program. And bye for now.